first I'm happy because I'm healing physically. I'm happy. Then I got to get to the mental part of it, and then I hurt my physical again because of my mental. Because I don't have the money, or I can't afford it per se.
Right.
So that.
And everything we're talking right now is still at a very individual level. We haven't even gone into the family situation.
Right.
Because from my experience, what I've seen is what you're discussing is absolutely right as an individual person. But if this situation was in your family, it affects relationships, right? Definitely. Your spouse or your partner, because you're wondering who's paying, who's picking the larger part of the bill. If you have children, it affects their future, be it school, education.
Because you can't pay for it now.
Right,
because
you can't pay.
Absolutely. And if you're an adult who's already supporting your older parents, for example, now that's a promise also you have to break, because suddenly you are in this financial burden.
All from health.
From health.
Absolutely. And if you've financially been already committed, say you already bought a house, you're in the middle of your mortgage payments. Now, you may have to foreclose your house because you may not have the job or you may not have the money. And that all adds more strain, not just on yourself, but your partner, your family, your children. And the recovery path really gets very complicated after that.
Do people recover? Like, do people? Do you? I mean, I guess this question is almost for me too. Do people really truly recover from?
I have so many horror stories to tell you. Wow. I mean, I've seen people get divorced, lose their children, lose custody, fall apart from their children. Their kids who are top A students can go into college.
Wow.
Because that was,
because of that one blow.
Yes, that one blow.
And that blow was like a Mike Tyson punch.
Yep.
Like,
it only takes one. It only takes one.
Yes.
So how does it change based on age? Like what happens with
So the
that?
common things to look at as a listener is, first is your age. So your age can work towards you, and your age can also work against you. So let's talk about the pediatric population first. That is from 0 to 18 is typical, but let's push it all the way till 24.
Okay.
Because a lot of children do get insurance through their parents.
Because if you go to college or something like that.
Yes, or you're going to college, you do. So from 0 to 24, that age group, if you are fairly a healthy child who's active, developmentally fine, you go to school, you're playing sports and everything, keep up with it. Keep up with that. It's very, very important. You may say, I'm healthy, I don't need to see the doctor, I may get flu like maybe once a year or once in 2 years. That's fine, and you want to keep up that trend. That's a positive gold star on your medical record.
Okay.
Now, the next age group I would talk about within the adolescent, the 0 to the 24, is children who have some sort of, either they're playing sports or they're prone to injuries, or children who do have a family history where there have been sicknesses. Now, if you fall in that category and you really don't have any sickness as of right now, you are in the medium risk category. So you will have to try and, especially if you're playing sports, to try and see how much you can mitigate your injury. I can't tell you how many friends I have who are in their late 20s who are still paying medical bills that they incurred when they were students playing for the university.
See, mine was a little bit different. I can speak to that a little bit. I played football in high school, and I tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, dislocated my knee, all of that. And fortunately, the school picked up the bill. So are you telling me that when they're in college and they're playing for the school, that the school doesn't pay for?
Sometimes they don't.
Wow.
It depends on how the insurance is, what the deductible is, what the co-insurance is. And sometimes, depending on the injury, you may have to take massage therapy, physiotherapy, chiropractic care, which will all expire after 24. After you leave school. I know a lot of people stay in school just because their insurance can be paid.
Wow.
Yes, but then you again get into a catch-22 situation. You want to stay in school to pay your insurance, or do you want to go out and get a job?
And you have to make
right.
That's like a choice that you don't want to have to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those are not the options that you want.
So my 2 cents is going to be, if you're in college and you're trying to get out and get a job and everything else, try and make sure you don't incur bills from your student life that you're going to carry over, because you're forever always paying debt.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You already have student loans to cover and, other expenses being an adult. So you want to take care of that. The third category is going to be where you're in the pediatric age group and you're really, really sick. You're one of those sick children with allergies, asthma, arthritis, type 1 diabetes, anything that, or even like pediatric cancers.
So if you have any, like, I don't want to say deep, but any sickness that's still there,
right,
and you're very sick,
right,
you fall into this age group, right?
Right.
Okay.
You fall into the third category. Now, these kids, as much as education and a life goal is important for them, their health is going to be a 24/7 focus. Right. Because they may think right now their mom and dad are there to incur their, pay their bills. But what happens once they're 24, 25?
And, I saw a lot of people, while working at the government, I saw a lot of people try to transition into getting disability.
Right.
Because they almost had options. It's like, okay, now I have to leave my parents' insurance.
Right.
And I'm still sick. And I can't work like everyone else because I'm sick. And so they show up at the office to...
But that's still a very small percentage. It's not so easy to get your disability.
Oh, it's not at all.
Because there are a lot of paperwork,
people.
a lot of reviews, a lot of testing that goes on. I'm talking about truly sick children who know they have this disease and they're going to live with this for the rest of their life.
I see.
And the cord is going to get cut once you're 25.
Yeah.
Right? So think about any 25-year-old. What are you thinking about? You're thinking about, can I buy a new car? Can I get an apartment? Can I, at 30, I want to buy a house. Now, these children don't have that dream. That dream gets very stunted for them. So if you fall in that age group, you definitely have to be on top of the game in terms of taking care of your health for the rest of your life. I know it's a bummer, but they have to eat healthy. They can be smoking. They have to be very careful in terms of any injuries they could incur. And to also get employed and make sure that you have good health insurance. Now, these kids, as much as you may have a dream saying, I want to work for this company as this role.
Right.
That's something you can focus on, but the health insurance and the benefit package is probably much more important for them.
So they're probably focusing, like you said, on the health care and benefit package more than they do the money.
Than
the description.
Yeah, more than even their career.
Wow.
You may lose $5-10 grand on terms of your pay package, but if you're getting a good health insurance,
it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Wow. Yeah.
So we got the 0-24. Are we ready to move to the next group?
Yes. So the next group is going to be, I would call them adults. I mean, medically, anybody from 24, 25 all the way till 65, I would say.
Okay.
They're adults, but let's just break it down to the 40 or the 45 age group.
Okay.
So 25 to like 40, 45, it's a very mixed bag. You can find people super healthy, or you can see people start developing diseases. Now, the next topic I want to go into is family history. I sort of want to tie this with the family history because knowing your family history is very important. I know there are a lot of people who are adopted over here. A lot of them have have families. Sometimes they have no contact with the family members. So whatever amount of family history you can get medically is very, very important and relevant. So if you have a family history of cancers, strokes, heart diseases, you know that it is a ticking time bomb. You may be perfectly healthy now, but we don't know what's going to happen in your 40s, 50s, 60s.
Because you could just get the cancer.
You could, yes. Because I've seen a lot of genetic cancers. I mean, it's kind of sad. They have cancer after cancer after cancer.
Wow.
So if you have bad genes, even something as simple as diabetes can really run up your medical bill because You have to do your insulin is expensive. You've got to get all your strips, your glucometer. All that adds up cost.
How much of diabetes? Did I say that word right? How much of diabetes is related to genetics? Is it more? I know you have different types.
Almost 50%.
It's 50-50. So 50% can be genetics. Other 50% can be just
diet,
lifestyle.
Yeah,
right. The current stats they said was all over the world, children below 15. Almost 50% of them have diabetes.
Oh, wow.
It's purely from the diet, a lot of sugar, and a very sedentary lifestyle.
Okay, say that again.
Hey, can we hit the sad face for that? Because that was a little bit sad. Like 50% of children 15 and younger.
Of all children?
Yeah, now, across the world.
Across the world.
Yes.
Have diabetes.
Right. And we are not talking type 1. We are talking type 2.
Type 1 is the one that you get from genetics.
Type 1 is from genetics.
Type 2 is from just your diet and what you put in your body.
Right. So if you already have type 1 and on top of it you have this bad sugary diet, you're running to the grave really quick.
Fast. Like you run into it with a rocket on your back.
Yes. So, and the complications from diabetes is a lot. I mean, it can affect your eyes, your nervous system, your fingers, your toes.
We need to do a whole podcast on diabetes and like how to fix. Right. Because you know what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that because I'm a teacher now too. I'm afraid that what the statistics you just told us. Mm-hmm. I look at progression. I look at 15 and younger now, their health bill by the time they make it to an adult to 21, 22, even 18, is going to be huge.
Yes.
And they have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And typically, when you're dealing with children, taxpayers have to pay for it.
We have to deal with that.
So taxes are going to go up just simply because of that one small section. I don't say small section, but that one section.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I can tell you one thing for sure. The only industry that's definitely going to be booming till the end is the medical industry. Because, it's everybody's a customer there.
Oh, yeah. By far.
Eventually.
Yeah. Eventually.
Even doctors.
Yes.
Including
doctors.
Even doctors.
So this is one spot where you want to kind of really delay as much as possible. If you think your regular chronic diseases, you can push it to your 60s or 65. I think that's.
I want to push mine until I'm 100.
Yeah.
My goal is to live until I'm 120.
Yeah,
that's my number 120.
120,
and it's doable because if you look at people who've lived in other parts of the world, and that's one of the things I really love to research and I try and understand in my free time is what makes people live longer, happier, healthier with minimal intervention, minimal drugs that's being used, and just to not have the dependency that you're sick and you need someone to take care of you. That in itself is a burden. It doesn't matter what age you are. You always want to feel healthy. Feeling healthy is the best feeling.
You feel like I remember when I was the unhealthy person. I was around your age, Josh, 28, 27, 20. I was about 250, 240, 250. I used to just get hot all the time. Like I just sweat for no reason, And then once I really made the transition into living a healthier life, I felt better. Yeah, I felt like life had more meaning to it. You could notice the
changes. Yeah.
And I saw different. Like you said, your eyes are affected. I feel like I was losing my vision because of that, because I was unhealthy. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So let's get to the next. You said family history.
Yes. So getting to know your family history and somewhat categorizing yourself, what risk category you're going to be in. That's the whole goal of it.
To find out what risk category you're going to be in.
Absolutely.
Low, high, medium. Yeah, and you can
low, high, and high risk. Low, medium, and high risk.
Low, medium, and high risk.
So low is, your family history is clean. You're already a healthy person. You eat healthy. You go to the gym. You feel fit. You don't fall sick. So if you're between 25 and say 65 and you fall in that range, you're the low risk person. So continue doing what you're doing, nothing to worry. Now, if you're in the same age group and you have a family history, mom had diabetes. I know my family, I fall completely in the moderate risk category.
I do too with diabetes. My grandma got diabetes right now.
And majority of us would probably fall in that, because there's diabetes, hypertension, stroke, and it's also an age group where, a lot of things happen in your life. You lose jobs, you get married, you get divorced, you go through. So there is a lot of stress factors too. So you may be healthy in your 20s and 30s. Maybe you may get unhealthy in your 40s and 50s. So it's a large category. It's almost 3.5 decades we're talking.
Right.
So
Right.
where a lot of things changes in your life, right? So it's important to sort of keep a good focus on it, and you know what to do. We'll go over, the end of the podcast on what are the things to do to kind of keep yourself healthy.
I have a question for you. Why do people, and this is why we're doing this podcast, why